Today, we're going to take a journey deep inside your own body. We're going to try and answer a pretty simple question. What actually happens to your food after you eat it? We're going to follow a bite of food from the very beginning all the way to the end of its incredible, winding 30-foot journey. All right, let's get into it.
Have you ever really stopped to think about it? You eat a meal, and a little while later you feel refueled, you're ready to go. But what happens in that mysterious time in between? How does your body literally turn something like a burger into brain power? Well, that incredible transformation, that's the story of your digestive system. It's like a super fine-tuned factory, and it's working inside you right now. So our journey kicks off the very second food passes your lips. This is really where the magic starts. You've got two different types of breakdown happening at the exact same time, and it sets the stage for everything that's about to come.
The official starting line is the oral cavity, and it does way more than just tasting. First, your teeth begin the mechanical breakdown, chewing. And this is so important because it just massively increases the food's surface area. At the very same time, your salivary glands are releasing enzymes that start the chemical breakdown, and they're going after carbohydrates before they even leave your mouth.
Next up is the pharynx. The best way to think of it is as a critical intersection with a really smart traffic cop. This muscular funnel has basically one job: guide what you just chewed away from your windpipe and down into the esophagus. It's the gatekeeper, making sure your food goes down the right pipe every single time. So once it's past the pharynx, the food enters the esophagus. Now, this isn't just some tube that relies on gravity. Oh no, it's an active muscular delivery system. Through a series of coordinated muscle squeezes called peristalsis, it actively pushes food down. And what's really clever are these things called sphincters. They're muscular valves at the top and bottom that clamp shut to make sure nothing, and I mean nothing, comes back up. Okay, from the esophagus, our food gets delivered to the main processing plant of the entire system, the powerful and, believe me, resilient stomach. This is where things are about to get really intense. And there it is, just nestled right below the diaphragm. The stomach is pretty much a J-shaped muscular bag, and it has an incredibly important job. It collects food, douses it in powerful hydrochloric acid and enzymes, and just churns it all into a liquid paste called chyme. The stomach isn't just one big chamber. It actually has different regions, and each one is specialized for a different task. You've got an entrance zone where the food arrives, a big central body for all the mixing and churning, and then a really carefully controlled exit gate, that's the pylorus, that squirts just small amounts of the processed food into the next stage. And here's a pretty cool clinical fact for you. That upper part of the stomach, the fundus, it often fills with air that you swallow. So if you ever see an x-ray of someone's abdomen, that dark spot you see at the top of the stomach is what they call the gastric bubble. It's a totally normal landmark that radiologists use to kind of get their bearings.
All right, after the stomach's intense acid bath, our food journey enters its longest and, you could argue, its most critical phase, the winding, twisting absorption maze of the intestines. This is where the body finally gets to harvest the fuel it's been waiting for.
Just let that number sink in for a second. Up to 23 feet. That's insane. If you stretched it out, it would be longer than 4 adults lying head to toe. So you have to ask, why so long? Well, it's all about maximizing surface area. That incredible length is absolutely essential to give your body enough time and space to absorb all the valuable nutrients from your food.
The journey through this long tube starts right here, in the C-shaped duodenum. You can think of this section as a chemical mixing bowl. It's where that partially digested food from the stomach gets blasted with specialized digestive juices from two key helper organs, the pancreas and the gallbladder, to finish the final breakdown.
So, if there's one thing to remember here, it's the different jobs these two have. The small intestine is the all-star player for absorbing nutrients. We're talking vitamins, minerals, carbs, fats, proteins, the works. The large intestine, which is our next stop, is more of a specialist. Its main gig is to absorb any leftover water and get the waste ready for disposal. And that brings us to the final major section of our whole journey. I want you to think of the large intestine as the body's super efficient water recycling and waste processing plant. The large intestine, which you might also know as the colon, literally frames the coiled-up small intestine. And while it's way shorter than its neighbor, it's also a lot wider, which is exactly how it got its name.
The path through the colon follows this really well-defined loop. So the waste material travels up the right side in what's called the ascending colon, cuts across the abdomen in the transverse colon,
goes down the left side in the descending colon, and then finally makes a little S-shaped turn through the sigmoid colon before it reaches the end of the line.
But what's happening here is way more than just plumbing. The colon's main job is to soak up the very last bits of water and electrolytes from all that indigestible food. And it's not working alone. It's home to trillions of helpful gut bacteria that actually produce essential vitamins for us, like vitamin K, just in exchange for having a place to live. Pretty cool deal, right? Now, this whole journey that we've been following, it wouldn't even be possible without a dedicated support team working tirelessly behind the scenes. These are the accessory organs of digestion.
The liver, the gallbladder, and the pancreas are absolutely essential. And here's the key thing to get. Food never actually passes through them. Instead, they produce and secrete these critical chemicals that get piped into the small intestine to do the heavy lifting of chemical digestion. They are truly the unsung heroes of this whole process.
So, what is their mission exactly? Well, the liver produces bile, which is essential for breaking down fats, kind of like dish soap cutting through grease. The pancreas, meanwhile, makes this cocktail of powerful enzymes to dismantle proteins and carbs. And the gallbladder? It's like a little storage tank, holding on to that bile until the exact moment it's needed. Together, they create the perfect chemical toolkit for digestion.
So, if we want to put it all together, the digestive system is this beautiful combination of two main things: that long, winding tube we've been following, the GI tract, and those awesome accessory organs that provide the chemical tools needed for the journey.
Okay, let's do a super quick recap of the whole trip. It all starts in the oral cavity with chewing, then it slides down the esophagus, gets churned up in the stomach, has its nutrients harvested in the small intestine, gets its water reclaimed in the large intestine, and then, finally, the exit. It's a perfect step-by-step process.
So here are the big things to take away from all this. First, your digestive tract is an incredibly long and specialized tube. Second, the stomach is a powerful muscular mixer that creates a really harsh acid environment. Third, the small intestine is where almost all of your fuel gets absorbed. Fourth, the large intestine's main job is just to save water. And finally, never ever forget the crucial role of those hidden helpers.
And that brings us to the end of our digestive journey. So I'll leave you with one final thought to chew on. After seeing every single complex stage, what do you think is the most underrated organ in this entire system? Let us know what you think in the comments below. And for more simple explanations of complex stuff like this, make sure you subscribe. Thanks for joining us.